And the woman on the beast, the city of Saudi Arabia, the city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia, speaks about the end-time Islamic beast. This is the only place, Revelation 2:18 through 25, that speaks of the end-time apostate church system. But most prophecy teachers will teach you that the whole book of Revelation is about the end-time apostate church system. But no, this is the only place. Turn to your neighbor and say, only place. Only place that the apostate church system is mentioned in chapter 2 of Revelation. Are you with me? And there is a definite connection to the true beast of Revelation with the apostate church system. So, brothers and sisters, what will be the punishment of Rome and the unreformed Reformation, antinomian, anti-Torah churches? If she does not make teshuvah, then Rome, together with the others who follow after the Roman religious traditions, will be put into great tribulation to spend a week in the French Riviera, correct? Huh? Yahweh is going to put end-time Isabel into the great tribulation to do what? To kill her children and put her in a coffin. And that's why we've got to tell our brothers and sisters to come out of the church. Not because we're better than you and we're smarter than you. No, because we love you enough to tell you. And it's a dangerous system to be caught up in. It's a dangerous system to be caught up in. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. If she does not make teshuvah in time Isavel, Yahweh is still holding back the great tribulation to give her time to repent, to make teshuvah, return to Him. Then all the Roman church, along with all the Roman religious tradition, and all the unreformed Reformation churches who followed her hook, line, and sinker, even though they claim they don't, will be put into great tribulation to die. Now, many in end-time Isabel will be beheaded. Zachariah, are you with me? Beheaded, meaning what? Cut off, the head, cut off, by the end-time Islamic beast, who will devour all these people, and yet still have an appetite for more innocent blood. Now go back with me to Gilead 2:23. Is anyone enjoying? We're not enjoying the end of end-time Isabel. We're enjoying the revelation of the blessed word of Yahweh, somebody. Amen. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. Gilead 2:23. Amen. Gilead 2:23. Revelation 2:23. Again, Chris, what's the name of this message? Correct. If you don't know it, the whole radio audience is in trouble. End time Isabel. And I will kill her children with death. That's Yeshua talking, not Rabbi Moshe. Don't write me an email. Lose my email address regarding this message. Send Yeshua an email. info@heaven.org. Info, write that down. info@heaven.org. And I will kill her children with death. And to all the Israelite congregations, that's us, who are really walking in the truth, we shall know that I am the one who searches the minds and the Levim, the hearts. And I will give to every one of you according to your wicked deeds. But I want you to know, Yahweh says, I will kill her children with death. Now, what kind of death? If it's not spiritual death, if it's great tribulation death, what kind of death? That means they might be saved by the grace of Yeshua and by the blood of the Lamb, but they're still going to die physically. Instead of surviving the great tribulation, they're going to perish in the great tribulation. What kind of death? Let me read it to you first. Dogs will eat Isabel. Notice, Daryl, what happened to the historical Isabel? Dogs ate her and decapacitated her head. Are we on? Are we going? I hope we're not going where they're going, but I know we're going. Dogs will eat end time Isabel like dogs ate historic Isabel. What kind of dogs? Ready? Islam, the end time beast, will do this work to Isabel. The beast system will continue to behead and cut off the heads of those in the Thyatira church system. As Melachim Beit 9:35 reminds us that this is what happened to historic Isabel. And of course we see that already. Let's turn there. 2 Melachim 9:35. Are we on? Are we going? Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I said Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. 2 Melachim 9:35. And they went to bury Isabel, but they found no more her head, and the feet, and the palm of her hands. They found no more than her head, her feet, and the palm of her hands. They found no more than her head, her skull, the feet, and the palm of her hands. Listen, Brit, the historical Isabel was decapitated beyond recognition, and so will those in end time Isavel. Heed the warning of the Son of Man who was, who is, and is yet to come. Those in the church system who play nice, who try to compromise with the end time Islamic beast, who lead believers into false worship, a worship that makes room for the beast and for their deity, Allah. Because remember, the Pope's face is painted with green. He already told the papists that Allah is the road for our Muslim brothers. That's it. Don't get excited. Don't get bent out of shape. Allah is merely the road for our Islamic brothers. His face is painted green. End time Isabel's face is painted green. Even if he does speak German, it's still painted green. Tadara ba Yahweh. And I'm not anti-Catholic. I got involved with the Catholic Church. I praise Yahweh, He showed me a better way. He came to me and saved me and opened my eyes. Now listen. The historic Isabel was decapitated beyond recognition. And so will those, sadly, in end-time Isabel who play nice or try to compromise with the end-time beast, who lead believers into false worship, a worship that makes room for the end-time beast and their deity, Allah. Revelation 2. I'm sorry. Stay in Melachim Beit 9:37. Melachim Beit 9:37. And the carcass of Isabel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Yisrael. Meaning, what happened to the 10 tribes of Israel? That's us. If you're not Jewish and you're born again, you've come from the 10 tribes of Israel. You are the portion of Yisrael. Yisrael is a Hebrew word that means the regathering of the scattered seed. The 10 tribes that went out into the nations, that went out into the Gentiles, are having their eyes open, and the blood relatives of the 10 tribes are those who were scattered are now being regathered. For great, Hosea 1:9, is the day of Yisrael. Somebody give him praise in the house of Yahweh. Great is the day. This is the day of Yisrael. It's a day to be regathered, but Yahweh will not regather you if you're in that system. He'll put you into a coffin. He wants you to come out of that system and spare you and your children. He wants you spared. Hallelujah. The carcass of Isabel shall be as the dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Israel, even among the Ephraimites, when the Ephraimites should be coming out back to Torah, back to Yeshua, back to Halakha, back to the Derech, back to the ancient paths, Yirmiyahu 16. And yet, they will not do so. And those who stay in end time Isabel will be so decapitated, and the carcass will be as dung on the face of the field, that men will not even be able to say, "This is Isabel." Isabel will be unrecognizable from the end-time Islamic beast. Their fate will be one and the same. Is this serious stuff, Kim? This is some serious, serious stuff. Now, brothers and sisters, in all due respect, it doesn't sound like end time Isabel is going to be raptured anytime soon. It appears that end time Isabel will be, I better watch my language here. Yeah, that stuff. Dung, basura, garbage. Buried in the earth when Yahweh kills her children and puts them into a coffin. Pardon me. Does that sound like anybody's flying away in a rapture bus? It's sad, man. This is sad stuff. They're looking for a rapture, and Yahweh says, no, you're going to be done. Now, either Yeshua's right or they're right. Now, you have to decide. Is this the Rabbi Moshe talking, or is this the Rabbi Yeshua talking? That's what you've got to decide. Heavy stuff. So our brothers and sisters that are stuck in that system, they believe the rapture is coming to take them away. Yahweh says, listen, you're going to be dung of the earth. Get out of there. Because you're going to be beheaded by the very beast you've made an ecumenical bed with. We read about it in Matityahu, chapter 13, I believe it is. The wheats and the tares, the kingdom of heaven, the Malchut HaShamayim is like a man who had a field and he sowed wheats and he sowed tares, and then at the end of the age the gatherers come and they gather the tares first and take them away. The tares are taken away. The wheat is left behind. Pray to be left behind. Don't pray for the rapture. Because if you pray for the rapture, that means Yahweh is taking you away as a tare. Pray. Because the Son of Man will come, Matthew 13, and he'll gather the tares and into bundles and burn them. He'll take them away. And the disciples said in Luke 17, where, Master? Where are they going away? And Yeshua said, you want to know where the tares are going? Wherever the eagle is, the carcass. Wherever the carcass is, the eagles will be gathered to the carcass. You better hope Yeshua doesn't come to take you away. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man, when the flood came and took them all away. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The tares will be left behind. Taken away. To be burned. To be dung. To be garbage. And the righteous will be left behind. And the righteous will shine as the sun and the glory of their Heavenly Father's kingdom. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Brothers and sisters, the book of Gilyana teaches, listen, the full destruction of the end-time Islamic beast empire. Yes, 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 and a million times yes. But sadly, it also teaches the dunging, or the annihilation, or the dunging, for lack of a better term, of Isabel, or the end-time church system that teaches believers to present strange fire before Yahweh, who foolishly tried to negotiate or tame the end-time beast through ecumenicalism, peace accords, which Yahweh forbids. Here is Yahweh's promise in the future with a chilling and sober warning for end-time Isabel. Verse 22, Gilead 2:22. Is anyone with me? I said, are you with me? Gilead 2:22. See, I will cast her into a coffin, and those who commit adultery with her into great tribulation, unless they make teshuvah from their deeds. There are some born-again believers who are marked to be killed because of the glorious testimony of Yeshua and his glorious Torah by the end-time Islamic beast, not for disobedience. That needs to be us. If we are called to be martyred for the glorious truth of the resurrected, glorified Yeshua and his glorious constitution, his ketuvah, his Torah, then slay away. Then let us be, so be it. Selah. Amen, amen. So be it. If we are called to be martyred as a testimony for the glory of Yeshua, then we can live with that. We can die with that. Romans 14 says, if we live, we are Yahweh's, and if we die, we are Yahweh's. So therefore, whether we live or we die, we are Yahweh's, somebody. Amen. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But so there's those who will die in the Great Tribulation, but they are not marked for disobedience on their part. That's Torah observant, faithful believers, ma'aminim, like Acts chapter 8. When Philip was told to go down to Azota and to get out of his chariot and to mikvah the Ethiopian emunah or ma'amina, not eunuch. Eunuchs are not allowed to go to Jerusalem to worship. He was not a eunuch. The Aramaic word is ma'amina, or faithful one. He was a faithful one. He was a believer in Torah, and he was coming back from Yerushalayim, and Philip was instructed by the Ruach HaKodesh to go and mikvah the ma'amina, the same as the Hebrew word ma'amin, to believe he was a faithful ma'amina. He was not a eunuch. And that's why you need multiple copies of the restoration of scriptures, not just one. Because Yahweh knows you can't fix error with one copy. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. I feel a sales pitch coming on. I'm just going to move right along here soon. Right along here. Yet many that are in end time Isavel, on the other hand, will be killed for their ugly disobedience and their ugly abomination. In other words, if you go through the Great Tribulation and you're martyred because you're pure, Baruch Hashem Yahweh. But there are those in end time Isavel who are going to be martyred because of ugly disobedience and abominations before Yahweh. Turn with me to Yirmiyahu 50 and verse 6. Yirmiyahu 50 and verse 6. Jeremiah, is anyone enjoying? Amen. Let's try that. Anyone enjoying? Amen. Hallelujah! Mordechai, are you with me? Hallelujah! Are you with me? Amen. I'm tired of dead preachers preaching dead sermons to dead congregations. I'm tired of it. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Thank you, brother. Nothing to say. Don't believe nothing. Don't stand for nothing. Have no conviction. Amen. They're like oatmeal without sugar, oatmeal without honey, a streetcar named Desire without wheels, fountains without water, clouds without rain.
Come on now.
Tadah Rabbi Yahweh. Yirmiyahu chapter 50 and verse 6. Yahweh speaking from his heart. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray. How did end time Isavel show up? Because the shepherds, the pastors, have led them astray. They have turned away on the mountains. Oh my goodness. 7 hills around Rome and end time Isavel. 7 mountains around Mecca, Saudi Arabia, end time Islam. Instead of finding pasture in the Torah, Yahweh's sheep are scattered and they're winding up scattered and destroyed on the mountains of Islam and the mountains of end time Isavel, the hills of end time Isavel. My God. Read this again. Let's read this again. Let's read this again. Yahweh says, my people have been lost sheep. The shepherds have led them astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. What mountains? What mountains? The mountains of Mecca and the mountains of end time Isavel and her unreformed Reformation assemblies. So brothers and sisters, in light of Yahweh's warning to us in Yirmiyahu chapter 50 verse 6, what should our response be? In light of Yahweh's warning to us in Yirmiyahu 56, what is the message of the hour? Because it wasn't your fault that you were in the Baptist church. It wasn't your fault that you were in the Presbyterian church. It wasn't your fault that you're a 5th generation Catholic. It was not your fault. Yahweh is looking for the preachers and the priests who told me I was fine. I was washed in the blood. I was born again. I was eating wafers and the wafers would send me. Yahweh is looking for the pastors to give an account. So what is the decision of the hour? The hour of power is here. What is the decision of the hour of power? And I'm not talking about Robert Schuller either. No. Yes, 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 that's true. And I don't say this in any, this can appear to be self-serving, and it's not. Honestly, it's not. But it's going to appear to be that way anyway. You are responsible for who your teacher and your shepherd is. Not your mom, not your dad, not Rabbi Moshe. You are responsible for who you allow to teach you the word of Yahweh. That's why when I get things, I ask for discernment, and I keep it, I take it to heart, or I throw it out. I'll say that again because I don't want this to get lost. Make sure the right shepherds are allowed to teach you. Brothers and sisters, listen. Listen. You have the power of attorney. No one else. Maria, you have the power of attorney. Who you allow to teach you the word of Yahweh and who you disallow to teach you the word of Yahweh. You and I have the power of attorney. Use it or lose it. Garnering truth is your responsibility and no one else's. I'll say that again. Garnering truth, Britt, is your responsibility and no one else's. I'll say that again, Britt. Garnering truth is your responsibility and no one else's. I'll say that again, Chris. Garnering truth is your responsibility because most pastors are out in left field. They're not in Yahweh's field. You need to sit down and say, these are the people that I will allow to speak the word of Yahweh into my life and no others. These are the 3 or 4 people, limited to a chosen handful of faithful people. These are the people I will not allow. I don't want to be confused, and I certainly don't want to be part of end time Isabel. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. I said, can I hear a good amen? Amen. If you are part of any sort of end time Isabel, it can be easily spotted by the criteria that I have listed above. Do not think the beast will not give you the same end as the historical Isabel. And I'm going to wind down with this. I hate using the word close because to me it's melancholic, it's sad, it's depressing. That means I cannot give forth any more of the word of Yahweh. But remember, I got to go to a meeting. Amen? We're in covenant. You're going to just let me fly out of here? Amen? Thank you. Much, much, much appreciated. But I'll sing the songs of Zion. Man, gotta sing first. When Moshe was in NB, let my rabbi go. Standing so long, their feet were swollen. Let my rabbi go. Get in the Hyundai, Moshe. Way down and step on the gas. Tell B'nai Yeshua Shalom. I'm nuts. I am absolutely. What kind of, much learning has made me mad. My goodness. I gotta put my shoes on for some sanity. Alright, let's get back to the serious side. If we are part of any sort of end time Isabel, that can be easily spotted by the criteria listed above that we've just discussed. Please, brethren, do not think that the beast will not desire to give you the same end as historical Isabel. Read the Muslim version of the Torah, their perverted Torah, and their plans for end-time Isabel. I'll say that again. Let's read the Muslim version of their perverted Torah and their plans for end-time Isabel. I'll say that again. Let's read the Muslim version of their perverted Torah and their plans for end-time Isabel. Ready? And by the way, Muslims, let me explain something if I can. Muslims will kill Jews or Christians. They hate both houses of Israel. But they respect Jews. They hate Jews. They want to kill Jews, but they respect Jews. Jews don't eat pig. Jews circumcise their babies. Jews don't worship beads and saints. In the Quran, it calls the Jews the people of the book. It says, allow the people of the book to live among you if they pay the slave tax and live as second-class citizens. But allow them to live if Allah chooses to allow them to live. They have no respect for Christians. They have complete contempt for end-time Isabel. Don't forget what I'm telling you. They have complete contempt. They see them as polytheistic, pagan, idolatrous crusaders who have come to take Islam's holy lands. The Jews they respect, even though the Jews corrupted the Torah according to their teaching. But they do respect Jews for guarding the Torah. They have no respect for end-time Isabel. That ought to tell you something. That ought to tell you something. Let's read the end-time plan that the end-time beast has for end-time Isabel. I'm quoting to you from the Quran, Surah 5 and 33. The punishment of those who wage war against Allah and His Apostle, that's Muhammad, strive to make mischief in the land of Islam. And is only this, the punishment is only this, that they should be murdered or crucified, or their hands and their feet should be cut off on opposite sides, or they should be imprisoned. This shall be a disgrace for them in this world, and in the hereafter they shall have a grievous chastisement. Surah chapter 5, verse 33. Allah dictates to His followers to murder